Lights on, mic's hot. The future of testing's on trial tonight. Is IST the hero or just I?
We've gone too far on autopilot, chasing tools and never think. Drowning in dashboards while real insight starts to sink. But us says bring the humans back, judgment, risk, and grit. Question is, does it truly land or just sound legit? Agile dogma, blind automation. Us claims a new foundation. But will it stand or will it fall? When the crowd decides it all. HIST, is it fluff or destiny? Cut through noise, let the truth be free. HIST, revolution parody. You'll be the jury, we'll see. Ruslan says it's discipline, evidence and proof. Quality by logic, not opinion in the booth. Iosif fires back, it's a buzzword masquerade. Just another trend that'll quickly fade. Now the spotlight's on you, QA crew. 3 votes decide what is can do. Fluff or substance, fair or spin. Efficiency, lose or win. HIST, future bright of fantasy. Raise your voice, make history. HIST, love it or let it be. Tonight we test its legacy.
Your vote, their clash. One methodology's fate. Welcome to us debate.
Hey guys, welcome to the Guild. Awesome to have you. Really excited. I guess the Guild floor is yours. I think you're all going to start off and we'll ask questions near the end, but I'm really excited about this debate.
Thank you. My name is Iosif Itkin. I work in ExactPro. We do software testing and test strategy review. Excited to be here today.
Hi guys, thank you so much for attending this debate. My name is Ruslan Desyatnikov, founder and CEO of QA Mentor.
Thank you very much. So today I will provide a brief overview of human intelligence software testing. I hope you saw the opening statement. I will go through them one by one. I provide a checklist on how to confront the first 2 items. For the third one, the evidence of new era is something that is not part of a common practice known for decades. Human intelligence allows us to investigate the source material and provide references to it. There was quite a lot of source material that I had to review in preparation to this discussion. Definitions give clarity, references give credibility. In information services, we value discipline and structure. HIST consistently lack both. There are no references to third-party materials it criticizes. There are no coherent definitions of the terms it uses. There are no proper attribution of widely adopted industry practices and ideas. HIST lacks scientific rigor of the information service. HIST is a textbook example of what makes a test approach better. This textbook. Richard Ramel is a famous strategist, and he is noted for having made several key contributions to the study of business and corporate strategy. One of his major contributions is, of course, identifying features of the bad strategies, such as his. They are fluff, using words of no consequences, mistaking goals for strategy, the unwillingness or inability to choose, bad strategic objective, failure to face the challenge. Inventors of strategies, of new methodologies, sometimes feel that their innovation is unique, but often it has many things common with any other bad thing. HIST is mostly fluff. Every nice thing is strategic in HIST. HIST is all the good things and not trade-offs. Metrics in HIST are focused on irrelevant things. HIST values pandering over software testing. The first proposition, HIST is mostly fluff. Fluff is using words of no consequence. Human intelligence is the ability to articulate a complex subject clearly. HIST consistently failed to do it. Fluff is hiding the absence of substance behind buzzwords. Here is a book example provided by Richard Ramel. Bank strategy states, our fundamental strategy is one of customer-centric intermediation. Intermediation means that the bank stands between the clients, and customer-centric implies that other banks are not really customer-centric. Remove fluff and Strawman, and bank's fundamental strategy will be to be a bank. Do you expect to see anything like that in HIST? Well, real information service is thorough. It is based on real data and hard work. I spent substantial amount of time collecting HIST strategic definition. HIST is people-centric, human-first, human-centric, purpose-driven, human-in-the-loop philosophy, strategic approach. It is all fluff. Fluff is restating the obvious using executive speak. Strong human intelligence oversight. When smart, responsible people do something, they can succeed. When stupid, negligent people do something, they routinely fail. Keep it simple. Fluff is using words of no consequence. Human intelligence is a great thing. We do not know exactly what it is, but we can use it to detect words of no consequence. Human intelligence in HIST stands for nothing. Replace it with any other nice word like virtue, and it will change nothing. A good exercise in critical thinking. Take any of the HIST texts and try to replace HIST with other words, and the updated sentences will make more sense than the original one. Well, some slogans are, of course, unsalvageable, like HIST gives us intelligence or HIST begins with the human mind, but anything else can work out, like AI may generate, but HIST decides. Who is HIST? HIST restates obvious things, such as those present in the basic software testing educational materials, like ISTQB foundation level, but in more dramatic tone. Fluff is okay in marketing and communications. Everyone uses fluff in marketing. It is not okay for technical specification. It is difficult to search anything in fluff. HIST fails as information service. There are no clear answers. Are you expected to report the vanity test case count in HIST? Yes or no? Well, in executive speak, no. In reality, yes. So find something that can be called a scenario, but not a test case. Every nice thing is strategic in HIST. A great indication that nice-sounding slogans and goals are mistaken for strategy is the use of word strategic in executive language. Do you think it is present in HIST? Well, take comparison between HIST and exploratory testing. The word strategic appears 5 times in a single table. His documentation is strategic and document. Proposition 2. HIST uses strawman comparisons and misrepresents. Strawman is misquoting. Strawman is attacking a claim that was never made. Strawman is focusing on a single word instead of substance. Absence of references, definitions, and direct quotations is a signal of a strawman. Let's specify one example. I do hope in the audience we have somebody who is software tester, who has more than 1 year experience in our industry, who is proud to be a software tester, and who is not employed by QA mentor. So this is what exactly his press release says about you. You never prioritize based on customer impact. You never adapt your style. You never choose the right tool. You create meaningless scenarios, and you never ask tough questions. HIST makes a strawman of you. This slide alone is enough to provide evidence for point 2. HIST strawmans software testers, other methodologies, other approaches. HIST strawmans everything. This is another evidence. I hope it will be covered during the rebuttal by the opposition. It is a clear example of using a strawman in the argument and in the post produced in LinkedIn. Testing can't prove the absence of bugs, only their presence. Here, HIST misrepresents BDD. You might be a fan of BDD. I'm personally not a big fan of BDD, but HIST claims requirements are overlooked in BDD. Whom would you trust? Dan North is the founder of BDD. Requirements are introduction to BDD. Boyka Adjic created several books on BDD, specification by example, and impact mapping. HIST never mentions agile testing by Lisa Crispian and Janet Gregory in his comparisons against agile testing. HIST compares agile testing to its own strawman version that only exists in HIST. It does not exist in reality. HIST makes a strawman from BDD. It compares itself not to BDD recommendations, but to its own fantasy. According to HIST, there is no process in BDD that is focused on requirement analysis. That is a blatant misrepresentation of BDD. I am not a fan of BDD, but this is a blatant misrepresentation and a strong man of what other people are doing. This is the level of evidence one can expect from HIST as an information service. HIST makes deranged, dramatic claims about agile instead of clearly explaining in simple words where it stands. Look at these pictures published by HIST. This is conspiratory thinking at its best. What would a structured, critical mind do with the claim that his methodology comes to complete agile, not a single tool, not a single framework, agile? what would be a structured methodical approach to it? Look at the Agile Manifesto. There are just 4 values and 12 principles in Agile Manifesto. There is value in the things on the left, there is value on the things on the right. Methodical approach, go through every item and provide a clear, simple explanation. What is your stance on every item? You do not need to publish enormous number of papers, posts, articles on the subject. You just need to structure your work in systematic way that is expected from information service providers. A structured discipline would go and specify the choice, but HIST is not able to make a choice. It is a key feature of HIST as methodology. Let's look at HIST manifesto. It uses a strawman. Imagine somebody, executive, saying exactly this. We value blind reliance on automation for automation's sake. It is a strawman. It is caricature. There are no such people. There is no value in the things on the right. Choosing between a good option and a bad option is not a choice. It is not a trade-off. It's not a strategy. It is classic pandering. It is virtue signaling, and it is fluff. HIST is all good things and not trade-offs. Look for the HIST material. Well, if you do not care about yourself, do look through the HIST materials, and you will see that HIST specifically is all the good things and not trade-offs. HIST has no critical self-awareness. It complains about not clearly defined terms and the use of buzzwords in other methodologies. There is no critical thinking in HIST. Its information is unstructured. It takes great effort to go through it to identify answers to very simple questions like where he stands on Agile Manifesto. All HIST links lead back to HIST. HIST is self-centric. The focus of HIST is not to explain, but to pander. HIST is not focused on beta testing, but on better pandering how great the HIST is. And it has practical technical implications. Human intelligence is the ability to structure information, to structure things and to identify key distinctions. Instead of flooding the readers with tons of profound pondering about how great investigation testing is, HIST can simply clarify that it defines data and expected outcomes up front. It is the definition of a fully scripted approach. Just be honest and keep it simple. Do you think using 100 plus KPIs is a good indicator of the ability to make a choice? What's your thinking on this one? HIST have not addressed any of the tough questions. So it claims that it is about tough questions, about challenging, but it never addressed any of the tough questions on metrics raised over the last several decades. Instead, it is self-centered. Its only goal is to produce KPIs that will show how great is the HIST, to sell how great it is, how sophisticated it is, how it uses AI, how it uses static testing, and how many millions it saves to anyone in the process. HIST metrics focus on irrelevant things. They are not focused on testing. They are not focused on providing information. They are only focused on pandering. Proposition 3. Of course, HIST recommendation, HIST itself, is a bad strategy. So it has all hallmarks of a best strategy. But apart from that, his recommendations also lead to bad testing. His recommendations are based on fake data. Leprechaun of Software Engineering is a great book on critical thinking. It is covered in materials dedicated to using metrics in software engineering. Have you ever heard about long-debunked cost of defect curve, an exponential growth chart? It was obtained in 1970s in one company using waterfall in defense industry. And then people who have limited care on research discipline copied them from one paper into another, from one book into another. It is now even present as a reference in ISTQB TFL 4.0. But it is not data. It is a fairy tale. But it appears that somebody is using this BS data as a serious tool. This serious tool is static ROI calculation. Why it is possible to use something that has no rooting in reality to provide information? Because this information is not about software. This information is about how great HIST is and how much money it can save. The only purpose of this calculator is to pander to management about how great is the HIST. HIST has blatant disregard for the truth as information service. Software testing is based in reality and facts. HIST is based in emotional pandering. The unreadable list on the left is a small subset of the things HIST would like to do instead of software testing. From designing pricing models and go-to-market strategies to fixing leadership disconnect. So HIST would like to do everything from accounting to marketing. The only thing HIST is not focused on is providing information, structuring information, making information clear, and essentially doing software testing. HIST would like to do many things instead of software testing. HIST is not focused on technology under the test. It does not understand that software testing is an infinite job. There's enough to do in software testing to try to do everything else. It is insulting to think that everyone else requires software testers' help to do their own job. Everyone else requires information about software that was tested. They do not need information about how they should spend their money in their personal or business lives. His recommendations are based on caricatures, on strawman. It uses strawmans of executives as a basis for its advice. Software testing is information service. It is providing information about defects, including their business impact. It was a part of industry practice for decades. So there is nothing new with the idea that it is necessary to provide information about risks and business impact. He just attributes it to them, but it is not focusing on the purpose of software testing. It is very unreliable as information service. Information service, such as software testing or investigative journalism or research, is discipline and structure. He claims both. It never shows either. There are no references to third-party materials it criticizes. There are no links. There are no coherent definitions of the terms it uses. There are no proper attribution where it claims standard industry practice as its own. HIST lacks scientific rigor and integrity that is required from an information service. HIST is empty slogans. HIST focus on HIST, not on software testing. Every nice spin in HIST is strategic. All its arguments are based on Strawman. The objective of HIST metrics is to explain how great is the HIST. HIST is all the good things and not trade-offs. HIST recommendations lead to bad testing. HIST is a textbook example of bad strategy. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Guys, once again, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. All coming in, spending some time from your busy schedule. I think it's important discussion, and let me present my part of the story. Let me share my screen and we'll get things going. So before I start, I just wanted to, ask the audience if, certain things are normal as part of, respect, conversation in our testing community about sarcastic comments and various of other things, right? And I wanted to simply challenge the trolling versus really assessing a new methodology or a new innovative approach for doing testing, right? There's a big differences. Is it normal that, somebody within our testing community will ask a peer CEO why do you hate quality, right? Is it normal that a person will mention that this man, and by the way, I have a name, is not qualified to explain BDD? Iosif, I knew that it will be a trap there. Iosif changed most of the slides, even though he posted yesterday to share with the audience what the slides he will be, talking about. But good that I spent only 30 minutes, not more than that, and comment few of the slides. I recall some of the new slides, so we'll address a couple other things. But, sarcastic comments or things where, relating to qualified and somebody else, the idol of Iosif, which is James Bach, pretty much talking about the same qualified language that, people not really qualified to oppose their views or, challenge them back on their methodology, right? So we see some similarities here. We see some similarities of sarcastic comments and smiley faces of some of the few supporters where trolling is a common theme. Nikita Nikolaev, who wanted to be very famous, I'll let him be famous here. So-called YouTuber with few likes and few views and couple subscribers, recommended Iosif that Ruslan is a salesperson, right? He will have no clue about basic terminology, right? He's a salesman. His product worth its money, he tried to prove. Now, guess what? HIST is not a product. And I will tell you a little bit later what HIST is all about and why HIST was created. HIST is not for sale. That's the most important thing for you guys to understand. HIST is created for you, okay, to save the craft. And I will explain why and what's the reason behind. I'm not selling HIST to any of the organizations. We adopting HIST as part of our strategy, methodology, and best practices. And we want all of you guys to leverage HIST elements, HIST best practices and approaches if you think it will work for you, for your organizations to apply. There is nobody dictating that this is the way to do it. This is optional for you. If you find this useful, please go ahead and useful. We'll talk about the metrics part as well, what is useful, what is not. But I just wanted, simply, showcase that, it's really not an assessment on HIST. It's much more than that. Calling things bullshit where, the other party said, I never say HIST is garbage. That's exactly the same thing. Stating that, that the HIST is just simply a joke. It's fake methodology or mostly fluff or clown framework. That's okay. That's, how typically trolls are acting. And, I dealt with trolls many times in my career, and there is nothing new. I actually encourage trolls to challenge because that makes only us stronger and better. Why would somebody, make fun of my employees and making jokes, stating that this is how you should be talking to your CEO instead of pointing on my mistakes? It's not nice simply to make fun of my guys. I never made any fun of your guys. But, this typically, shows the character which, we have on another side. This is much more than just, a trying to critique methodology. This is slightly different. So again, some of the slides which Iosif didn't show us today, which he kind of confused me. Some of them are not here, but well-defined HIST. I actually provided 6 different definitions of HIST since he had a hard time finding HIST definition on our website, which is clearly, articulating exactly what was the reason for HIST and why industry need HIST now more than ever. But we'll talk about this. He was, laughing from and sharing a few things relating to James Bach, where James Bach basically showcased why he should not say manual testing and what are the other types of testing he would prefer. And the interesting thing is he recommends exploratory testing along with a few other recommendations. But guess what? Exploratory testing, is something which he inherited from Sam Harner. And obviously he wants to talk about this because, all his business is based on trainings. So exploratory testing needs to be advertised out there. But our community diminished the word manual testing. It's very interesting and at the same time very upsetting to see how our own community damaging our own craft, saying that manual testing is a low-grade job, when to me, manual testing equivalent to the human intelligence testing. That's not a low-grade, work. We should be proud of this. We should be talking about this, not eliminating the term, thinking that the term is evil or the term should not be talked about. How absurd it is for Alan to write over 10,000 messages to people who mentioning a word manual testing. Imagine that. What we get into in our own community when we have to deal with helping the craft, to fight back where the QA industry are taking a big hit now, when we have layoffs all around, where people are losing jobs, we actually helping others to say that the manual testing is evil and the manual testing is really, really bad and low-grade job, and people without automation skills are really nobody here in this market. Just, imagine that. Iosif mentioned that there was no peer-reviewed publications from his, no third-party material, references, attributions, and everything else. But, he's been around for 3-4 months out there, although HIST is a collection of 28 years of experience, me being in the field, playing various of different roles in various of different organizations, from managing testing center of excellence to doing auditing for 128 enterprise level Fortune 500 companies, mid-sized organizations, and startup companies. It's a collection of mistakes. It's a collection of good things, bad things, all merged into something which I felt will be helpful for our community to fight injustice of what's happening right now, where we're losing leadership positions in QA due to Agile. And you might have a different opinion that Agile have never sidelined QA leadership, but I have a different opinion on that. And that's what I was writing actually in my articles, where Iosif probably misunderstood or didn't have a direct, mapping relationship to what I was referring to. But let's take some methodologies of exploratory testing, from the two idols which Iosif is worshipped. All his presentations includes James Bach and Michael Bolton references. Let's take a look at some of their work and their websites, just so we can, compare apples with apples. So rapid software testing approach, we basically have there a methodology, which is just a couple, things in there with maybe a diagram, and then a collections of various of different articles in here. If we go to rapid software testing approach from, James Bach, we would see similar concept, pretty much the same thing, right, in there. Now, when I basically mentioned that first time when we released HIST, it was just a simple release, which we published. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find this here. Yeah, so simple press release where I mentioned that we're going to articulate and we're going to launch officially the HIST methodology, his manifesto, his values, his strategy and frameworks a little bit later. So what Iosif did was he saw this simple post, which I shared with the audience. And, Iosif started trolling things right away, without really reading anything about his, because at that point of time, his was not exist. But he was still trying to reference with RST, with rapid software testing, with exploratory testing, with all the other schools of thought, where I said, wait a minute, we didn't launch anything yet. After 3 months, we're going to launch everything on the website. But during the 3 months, I'm going to start circulating and trying to prep the audience to understand what HIST is all about. That was my strategy. That was my approach. And that was the reason why I created a number of articles trying to explain the problems which we have in the industry. Because the HIST is addressing, or at least trying to address, multiple of those challenges and those issues which we're dealing with. And I'll talk about this a little bit later. But what we have here that, somebody who might felt jealous that, somebody come up with such a easy terminology, start trolling, start talking without even seeing a methodology yet, try trolling it. That's not a cool thing to do, in my opinion. This is Iosif's definition of HIST, right? He simply consolidated various of different extractions from multiple articles based on my 20 plus articles, hundreds of posts relating to HIST. material on the website, which we launched, and he decided to create his own version of what HIST is all about. I can say, yes, if you found the words within the articles talking about HIST, this is true. But this is not a good definition because it's going to confuse the audience. This is not what the truly definition of HIST is. And we'll talk about this in a few minutes. Iosif, come up with the various of different names, making jokes, heel, hips, fight, hint. I promise I actually will respond back because I didn't want to waste time during the arguments back and forth. I said I'm going to respond back during this debate. So you was asking the audience, what other names I can come up with, right? You put the question. So some of the names I thought human intelligence psychiatric solutions would be a good, abbreviations here. HIPS might stands for Human Independent Psychiatric Services. We can make fun, same way as you making fun on those names as well. But that's my answer to your question, which I didn't get a chance to respond back. Iosif mentioned that, simply the interesting thing is he take just, the footer with, the statement, but he forgot to actually put the narrative behind. Somehow he doesn't put those details, and he doesn't see or doesn't want you to show what exactly this message translated into. But let me just talk about HIST is not about checking, it's about challenging. Yeah, I want to ask you, audience, if, you believe in static testing and our formal process, which consists of 12 checklists on static testing, along with the return on investment to showcase why it's saving money, why it's so crucial and important to identify gaps and issues during the requirements rather than wait for them to be materialized during the testing and identify defects there, how much it's expensive, because not many organizations nowadays doing a formal static testing. There's no time for it. Not many people believe that it can actually a preventive method. People take requirements for granted. People take requirements as a Bible. They believe in everything what it says. They're not challenging it. And that's the message which I was trying to share. It's all about challenging. It's all about identifying the gaps. It's not taking and agreeing to everything what the user story states. You have to use your human intelligence and challenge things back because it's not the Bible. Requirements, not the Bible. Maybe, Iosif can share his work on how he calculates return on investment for static testing, which not a single practitioner or QA expert in this world came up with that type of strategy and analogy on how to calculate the actual ROI on static testing. And I show this specifically in detailed version on my course, which I gifted to our community. I give it away for free. Why for free? Because I see that we're not equipped with this task. I want more people in our community to apply static testing because they're not applying static testing there, right? So that's essentially why I wanted to emphasize. And who is, show anything which you did for the community. Show anything which you wanted to share and train and guide and coach the community to bring and upskill the knowledge, right? Multiple sessions I have through the webinars on static testing. Just take a look at static testing templates. Yeah, this is Fluff, what Iosif is referring to. All of these documentations, all of these checklists, all of the strategies and methodologies which needs to be applied in order for you to really add the difference when it comes to requirements, verifications, and validation. This is all Fluff. Of course, every single one of this is just garbage, And, this is up to you guys to understand or to believe. Some of you, I'm pretty sure, not practicing static testing requirements, but this is why we're missing the actions, guys. This is why we start testing based on what exploratory testing tells us after the fact, after the application is delivered to testing. Then you should start exploring, and maybe then you should start building test cases, not before. In my books, we start testing much, much sooner, not even at the requirements levels or user story definition. It's much sooner when somebody coming up with the MVP, which Iosif stated that it's a buzzword, minimal value of product is a buzzword. Imagine that we help startups to release applications, help them to release the MVPs so they can get successful and start generating revenue and get more customers with their ideas. We're validating and verifying the ideas upfront, not at the end of the day when testing things that functionality, if you test the functionality, it will work, and that's good enough for you. That's not good enough for us. We challenge in making sure that functionality not only tested properly, but will bring the value to the business. Do you know how many companies calling us and asking for help? We launched the product. Why we have no basically conversions? Why customers downloaded our game and we have 500 downloads and they left after 3 minutes playing the game? Why? Why companies contacting us? The product was already tested by somebody, but they calling us to get the insights why we think something within the product which users or players might not like, something which might not be self-intuitive or user-friendly, and that might cause the problem. Just recently, we got a call from the adult website. The question was, we released this website 3 months ago. We have 0 paid customers. What's the problem there? You might think, well, but probably it has bugs, it has problems. Let's look at the opposite side. Let's say there is no bugs and there is no problems, but there's a problem with the business idea. And the business idea was, and I will tell you, very simple. The adult website simply wanted to get paid for customers who wanted to chat with the beautiful females there online, but guess what? They didn't see them. So any normal human being with a human intelligence will think and might think, well, maybe there is a bot behind. Maybe I'm talking to a guy versus a female, or maybe a grandma. If I'm not going to see who I'm talking to, maybe I'm smart enough not to purchase and not to buy things. This is what I called much more than testing, much more in terms of the challenging the product, challenging the logic of the product, challenging the business rules of the product, whether this is valid or not. Iosif was laughing with the course which I gifted to the community. And in my exchange, and I give, by the way, this course for free to Iosif, and I asked him, did you find anything not clear on the calculating the ROI? He said everything was clear. So why do you think HIST is trying to advertise and say that to the decision makers and calculate revenue and return on investments to show how good HIST is? You're fundamentally wrong, Iosif. We're not trying to show the good things of HIST. We're not advertising HIST, as I said. What we're doing is we're trying to educate decision makers that the testing is not a cost center anymore. It shouldn't be a cost center. It should be an investment, which will bring ROI, which will bring new revenue attributed to the releases of the new features and products and functionalities and enhancements. It should be mapped to the new user conversion and acquisition, which we need to convert and estimate that conversion to speak the language of executives, because they truly don't understand quality. If we ourselves in the testing community not understanding quality, how do you expect CEOs, CIOs, and COOs understand that you found some defects, or you executed 20,000 test cases, or you automated 80% of your regression testing repository? What does it mean to them? Is it relevant to them? Or maybe it will be more relevant when you will convert this into business value. Or maybe you will create something like this, business value proposition methodology, which is linking to quality, to revenue and risk and ROI. Maybe we can brainstorm this together on the next debate. Maybe we can discuss some of the metrics, which you said there is too many metrics and they're all fake, right? You just quoted me. I said that metrics never lie, but you were laughing from this. Yeah, metrics never lie. People do. Maybe we're going to brainstorm and discuss some of those revenue metrics or ROI metrics, or maybe risk-linked metrics or customer-centric metrics. Why not discuss this to educate decision makers why they should not drop QA departments? Why should not eliminate leadership teams? Why should they not eliminate testing center of excellence, which are gone now? And they were at some point of time 15 years ago in a pretty good state, right? Why it's happening? Can you answer this question? Why? Because we're implementing HIST, or because we actually not talking about those things and not educating people how quality maps to the business value, how quality is an investment and not insurance policy. It's an investment. And this is where my disconnect is with you and people like yourself. This calculator, show me, find this on ChatGPT. Maybe you asked ChatGPT to create this calculator. You was laughing that ChatGPT made everything for HIST, really. But guess what? If you looked up 4 months ago and asked, what is HIST? It was not exist, right? It was not exist. So how ChatGPT created something which I was building for 28 years? And these documents, do you want to brainstorm some of these documents? Do you want to see business rules validation library for 12 industries? Or do you want to understand how he's doing pattern-driven validation? Or maybe you want to talk about various of other things like pattern library collection. We collected after many years of experience the similar problems which reoccurring again and again, and what we should do to prevent those problems and verify those problems. Maybe we'll talk about this recurrent pattern validation methodology. Maybe you want to talk about this, right? Or how about tolerance escalation guidelines? Do you want to talk about this? Or maybe API testing, key performance indicators, and how we apply this to test AI? You created this debate to launch your book, which going to be launched very soon, right? Yeah, what are you surprising? Yeah, what are you? Yeah, is that the reason why you're here to advertise? Is that the reason why you wanted to get hype? You're getting hype right here, right now, in front of everybody. The hype which you was dreaming about. Let's talk about a couple other things. So, have you heard about HIST investigative testing, which is part of HIST? Not really, right? And some people in our community stated that seems like you have understood something, but why create something that already exists in RST? Guess what? This is totally different than RST. Even though I respect RST, and even though on the website we actually said a lot of good things about RST, which you can actually see it here, I provided a detailed explanation. What are the differences between the RST? We will not have time in the world today to discuss everything between rapid software testing and human intelligence software testing. At any point, I never diminished any of those methodologies. I just compared and said what are the differences there. Okay? At any given point, I never said anything bad or wrong about them like you said. I even created the common grounds across HIST, RST, and context-driven testing. I even had the slides on the website where I shared the beliefs, shared common beliefs around them. But there is a lot of things which are different in fundamentals, in philosophy, in the structure, in the execution, in the discipline, in the approach. There is a lot of things which are different. And there are certain things which might be similar. Anything has certain similarities, and I put those similarities in. What do you think? That Michael Bolton himself didn't see this? We exchanged a very good conversations when I posted this, and we have some good conversations happening there. Do you think I'm not aware of exploratory testing and entire work? Michael Bolton, I hired Michael Bolton to teach my guys on his methodology. We have great trainings with him because I want our guys to understand that mindset, the exploratory testing, which is just a little piece of the HIST. I want them to understand because I find it's good. You're laughing. Keep laughing. Maybe you forget what I said to you here, that in Russian, he who laughs last laughs best, right? So I'm glad you're still laughing, Iosif. I'm really glad. But I told you, don't laugh too soon when I simply circulated the press release, which had nothing behind it yet.
All right, guys, we're almost up on the opening statement time. I think you wanted 20 to 30 minutes each. Just a heads up, the crowd wants to ask some questions. They want more of a debate style rather than what they're saying is just not personal attacks, but more.
I think Ruslan just raised like 10 different items that we need to address. So maybe he can finalize his statement and then I need to go to the items that he raised. Well, some of them. I currently have 19, but I will try to select a subset of them if possible.
Yeah, the audience wants to keep it on point, keep it debatable, and, tighten it up a little.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So let Ruslan to finish his opening statement, and then I will try to go through some of the items that he raised. Thank you very much.
So I'll take again. I have 200 slides. We're not going to have time to cover this all, and I was not, trying to cover them all. But just 2 more minutes. I wanted to give a chance to Iosif and the audience to ask questions. I wanted to explain the reason why I invented or pushed for HIST. It's not a marketing gimmick. We have plenty of clients, as you saw in the introductory slides. We have 476 clients, which we already implemented and utilized many of the strategies and methodologies which now HIST consists of. HIST was not born as a new baby. HIST is 28 years old. Okay, I just didn't call it HIST back then. HIST was created for you guys to help existing industry right now, which is over-obsessed with automation and AI, when every single manager trying to push you to automate things without really thinking about the quality, all they care about the green dashboards and executions. All they care about in-sprint automation. And if you're not going to achieve in-sprint automation, it's going to be the end of the world. CTOs and CIOs, and I'm challenging you guys there. I'm not afraid that I'm not worried that I'm not going to get business from you. You're over-obsessed with automation. We're just psychic on the automation. And you don't want to treat manual testers, which are human intelligence testers, with the same respect as the automation, because automation engineers or SDATs is your guys. This is your guys. You like them. But at the same time, you like quality. But for some reason, quality will not be coming just by the automation means. We're not really thinking strategically again about where we are now. We are in disaster in our industry. Look how many people lost their jobs. Look how many people writing to me. I just share a couple things. And I will promise. Look how many people writing to me. Read this. 27 years veteran, right? And this is what they think about the HIST. But guess what? This person is already working. I help him with the job because we brainstorm what HIST is all about and how it's important to emphasize things during the interview and how to really impress, not impress for impression purposes, but impress for the value add, certain things which we are talking about. This is what the community think about HIST. I'm not creating this fluff. You can go and look. Look, this is everybody who talks about HIST. Are those people dumb? Are you saying that those guys are dumb? They're not understanding? They're on the same page with you? Those veterans with 30 years of experience who are lost the job just because of the automation and over-obsession. Look, is it not enough? 50, 60, 70, 100 comments on HIST. Yeah, not enough? You want to see more? Let's get more evidences. Why are you just copying only pictures and you have a slide with the picture? Show people's reaction. Why don't you show them that 938 likes are there? What? I'm buying the likes? I am paying for the likes? Is that what you think? Who are those people who like this? Don't you think it's relating to their mind, something which I'm talking about? You're laughing from all these cartoon styles, right? Images and all of the posts. You're laughing, keep laughing. But I'm talking about serious stuff here. Do you understand? Why are you not talking about 174 comments here, 78 reposts, 123 reposts there? Why are you not talking about 752 likes where people sharing their knowledge there? Why are you not showing this? Why are you showing only negativity? Look, I can show you millions of examples out there. Do you know how much time it took? Or you think ChatGPT wrote this for me? Why do you think I'm doing this? To earn business or to make money by advertising HIST? Oh yeah, you're shaking your head, right? Guess what? You're absolutely wrong. Because I'm not selling HIST for the training purposes. I'm not having classes for the training purposes. Everything what HIST is all about is free. I'm scheduling multiple webinars to share all of this information with the audience, since information is already there. I share lots of information to the community and train many guys free of charge to elevate their understanding on QA. Because QA mentor stands for mentorship, guidance, strategic support. This is not about the money part. I made enough money to retire. I can sell this company any day right now. Any day. But I'm here specifically for next 5 years. You know why? Because I don't want to see this industry disappear because people like you and others in our community who are brainwashing junior resources and the rest of the world. Simply brainwashing. I'm pausing. I'll let you talk.
Can I now respond?
Please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, first of all, everyone can notice that you haven't addressed any of my 3 points, but you raised like 21 different items, and I will try to go through some of them. So just to show that it is possible to address directly what others are saying. First of all, you are saying that HIST is fully available for free. According to your other posts in LinkedIn, only 10% of HIST is available. Everyone else is proprietary and under the copyright. So maybe it's changed, maybe it's not, but it was your own statement about HIST. Then, of course, I am reviewing it for money because we are doing software testing, we are doing strategy review of and time that we spend, we are doing for money to promote how to do software testing, how to review documentation. So I showed how to review documentation. Next one, you said that number of likes indicate that methodology is good. It's not. Software testing is not measured in likes. Then you said that Iosif stated that MVP is a buzzword. It is very good that we have recording of this session because phrase MVP is a buzzword. Is from your page, from your site. It is his. So you said that MVP is a buzzword. Go read your own statement. Next one is about the press release. Ruslan stated that in April, he published a press release, and there is nothing available about his press release. Apart from the press release, there was nothing in his methodology, but he already compared it to RST. So you have something that only consists of a single press release. How do you call it? You call it marketing stunt. It's exactly how I called it in April, when nothing was available. Then Ruslan says that something about using ChatGPT. So the post he refers to is this one. So ChatGPT prepared materials to help HIST with materials. ChatGPT explained how to identify Fluff, how to identify Strawman, and how to refute arguments that something contains Fluff or Strawman. ChatGPT also kindly provided information how to identify other types of arguments, like ad hominem attacks. And great that we have full recording of the Ruslan's opening statement for everyone to review them. So Ruslan started with discussions about my language style. Let me read direct quotes. "Oh, the clown is back. Time to sit back and enjoy the circus. Since when did you become a performance expert? I believe you still owe me your homework on my HIST, Human Intelligence Software Testing Discipline." Okay, next one. Where is this one? Okay, because either you have some vision problems and you need optometrist, or you really do not have any clue in performance testing. It is about the report that contained bugs. It is fully documented now. Anyone can go read about these bugs. Everything was confirmed by development. And this report, this fake report, was paid by some of the QA mentor clients, according to Ruslan. So everyone can review the style of speech that Ruslan promotes in our community, in particular, these statements announcing the debate. So I'm not sure why Ruslan thinks that it is a good idea in discussions to refer to James Bach, etc. So, okay. A few more things that were directly raised. About static ROI calculation and the course. Let's be clear. Static ROI calculation, the course available for free, is based on BS data. You can, if you have time to waste like me, you can go study this open, freely available course, and you will see that it uses BS data from Leprechaun of software engineering to do its calculation. So it's a caricature. So these figures are directly from Perm curve. It requires blatant disregard to truth in order to use something like that. A few more things that were directly raised.
We just need to start wrapping this up. Just a heads up, 15-minute mark.
Okay.
Just giving you a heads up.
Can I have 2 minutes to respond to this?
That'd be great. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me see if I have.
And also, the people are saying they'd rather not go rehashing the arguments online. So just stick to the framework itself.
Yes.
Maybe.
Sorry. I would like to clarify that we have 3 agreed debate propositions, and none of them were addressed. One more thing, Ruslan stated on the record that I initiated this debate to sell the book. So everyone can go look at the story of this debate, and they will see that it was Ruslan who requested the debate. It was Ruslan who requested the peer review of his framework in this polite form. And I provided the peer review for free, identified that it consists of buzzwords, that it contains Strawman comparisons, etc. The last one, I will not comment on the manual testing because it is just example of a Strawman, but I will comment on RST. So Ruslan suggested in his speech to review his metrics. My statement is the following. His work contains no references, no direct quotes to the work on metrics from Ken Conner, Michael Bolton, no links or direct quotes on exploratory testing. Everything is missing. So HIST has no research discipline, but for some reason, it expects that somebody will go and review and directly research their material. Okay, so none of the three propositions were addressed, and I provided very clear structure to explain while all three of them are relevant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take just 2 minutes. I want people to ask questions, so I appreciate people come in to find out more information. So just to address a couple of things. So number one, the only reason I asked for the debate is I didn't want to have a heated discussions on LinkedIn because it was out of control. So that's the only way I did this. I didn't need the hype like you did. I have enough hype.
You asked for debate.
I asked for debate, exactly. Yes. I asked for debate.
Not for review.
I asked for debate to address trolling comments. So let me speak. Well, 1 second. You had just be quiet. You had your minute. Let me speak for 2 minutes. You can jump in. Let me talk.
Just that's all right.
Can I just respond? Yeah. I didn't have 2 minutes. He was just stealing my time for one.
Respond, and then Iosif will jump in.
So once again, yes, I asked for the debate only because I didn't want this to go, overheated. And I also wanted to punish people like yourself, trolls, who accusing and, trashing something where people working for many, many years and trashing them as a garbage. Okay. And that's the reason I will challenge many of you out there, trolls, who will dare to trash something or make fun of me or make fun of my company or my people. Number two, Iosif, show you about the performance report. Performance report has nothing to do with HIST. I have a specific, post on this. We partner with the performance tool company specifically to understand a little bit more on AI part of it. And what I wanted to do is for my guys who are not performance engineers, who are not performance testers, I wanted to see how this tool with AI features would be able to help out to achieve certain things. Yes, we generated the report. Yes, that report had findings which we found useful. Yes, that report has some issues, which Iosif identified, which is great, but it didn't change globally the outcomes of the problems in the report itself. And this report and this activity has nothing to do with his, just for the record, okay? Finally, the other, point or acquisition where, he mentioned I never send the references to any of the metrics. I don't need to share any references to somebody else's work. You know why? Because I'm not critiquing that work. I'm publishing my work based on my knowledge, based on my experience level, based on my 20 years experience, making mistakes, achieving some good results, collections of experience and converting this into our own thing. I don't need for any of my work to give references to anybody. I don't need. If that's your style, you can do that. But I'm not stylist to every single word needs to find a reference point to a book or to somebody who said this or that. I did a very detailed comparison between what HIST is and what the other methodologies are. It's available. I wrote about it. It's on the website on QA Mentor. Very detailed explanation. I chat with Michael Bolton about it. I chat with other people who thought that it's a copy of somebody. Just think about it. Yeah, I will copy something after 20 years of experience, copy someone else's work and say, it's my work. I mean, how absurd that thing is, even to think about it. I'm done with the conversation.
Oh, great. Okay. Iosif, any response?
Yes, of course. So I said that there are no links from the work and there are no direct quotes to the work. So comparisons are not based on what other people have written, but what is present in Ruslan's head. It is the definition of Strawman. This debate was requested by Ruslan, and it was requested after he requested the peer review of his work. So during the debate, he said that I initiated the debate. It is a false statement. He also said that I said that MVP is a buzzword when MVP is stated as a buzzword on his own website. So these were two direct false statements, and I hope he can acknowledge and we can ignore it going forward.
All right, guys, really quick. A lot of people just want to learn more about what is your logical argument without name calling, without pulling up other names. What is your logical argument, like within a minute, to summarize things so people that were here understand what the main point was, staying on the point, though, of what's going on? To summarize what your main point or your main argument is.
Who will go first? Should I do for it?
You should do first because I'm not arguing. You challenging.
Sure. So everything in life and strategy is about making trade-offs. So if you are doing one thing, you are not able to do another thing. It is the essence of strategy. If you are focusing on discipline, research, and testing, you do not have enough time to brag about it and to ponder. So the essence of software testing is focused on providing clear information. Looking at his materials, they're extremely unclear, they're extremely unstructured, they provide no direct quotes, they provide no direct references, they show the absence of research discipline. And software testing is research that is absent in HIST. Thank you.
Ruslan?
There is really nothing to debate on this particular topic because testing is not a research. You're not in a sociology class, or you're not in psychology class, or this is not a discipline. Every time when I talk to the other side of the camp about the metrics, they're referring me to metrology. They said, did you study metrology? Nobody likes metrics on their side, and Iosif is part of that sort of camp and community. But they don't like challenging questions. They don't like when somebody will oppose their views. They just cannot take it. And that's the reason why I have a big blocked list of some of those influencers who simply don't want to hear the truth. But I will always say the truth. And I will always fight for people who try to brainwash, especially a young junior generation of testers.
Can you
So
acknowledge two false statements that you made?
let me just conclude. So HIST, once again, this is not for commercial benefits. It was created specifically for you guys to leverage the best practices, to apply this at the places where you work, to identify what might be applicable and what is good to be applicable or not, to understand that manual testing, you don't have to be shy or eliminate that word. You need to understand that automation is not everything for quality. And you need to understand that human judgments and human intelligence will always drive this world, no matter what. No matter that AI is knocking the door and trying to conquer the world, there always will be human in the loop. And that's our principles, same as in our manifesto, which some of you guys, if you want to read, you will see our principles, you will see our beliefs, you will see what we think about it. It's clearly articulated there, which Iosif showed you as a fluff. That's about it.
Will you acknowledge two false statements that you made? You said that I initiated the debate to promote the book, and you stated that I used MVP as a buzzword instead
This is the third time you talking about the same thing, and it's boring. I already said that I asked about the debate.
You acknowledge the false statement.
It's not the false statement. I said that I initiated the debate with you because I didn't want to hear the discussions on LinkedIn. That's I clearly stated. And you now acting as a CNN reporter, you're changing my words all the time. Every time you change it.
All right. We're almost up on time here.
You said that I initiated the debate to sell the book. It was your statement.
No, I said that you wanted to leverage the debate to advertise your book. That's what I said, or that's what I mean. Okay, and I want to correct it if you misunderstood.
Okay. So we will look at the recording. You also stated that I've used MVP as a buzzword when it is labeled as a buzzword.
Well, I don't remember what I wrote on the website. I wrote a lot.
You do not remember because you have tons of
That's fine. You can get that scoring on me for this one. I just don't know if I said that or not. I cannot remember everything what I wrote of millions and millions of publications. All right. So if you want to say that, I don't mind. Let me lose the point on this. Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys. Let's get some questions really quick because people have been waiting. Are there any areas in testing methodologies where you are in agreement? Some positivity here from Philip. Ruslan, I don't know if you want to
Yeah. I respect every single methodology. Every single methodology has best practices and certain things which are really good to apply for testing. Whether it's RST or context-driven testing, whether it's agile testing within the agile itself, there's a lot of good things, but also there's a lot of things which I disagree with. But I'm not trashing anybody. I'm not saying anything. I'm just simply not implementing those areas when it comes to serving our business clients. And it's not part of our methodology. Certain things which I disagree with, such as no metrics. Just imagine this. Oh, why do you need metrics? Metrics are evil. Test cases. Why do you need to build test cases? Look at this. I mean, those narratives which really creating a big problems for our community. So I'm just ignoring those types of things. And that's pretty much it, what I would like to address this question with.
I think we both see some value in independent testing. I just think that software testing is, so I believe both sides see value in independent testing. I just think that it has a lot of value to focus on software testing, and HIST promotes focusing on many other things. But this one probably is shared, that we do both see some value in independence.
Great. Thank you for that. Next question. Is there any areas where human intuition still outperforms automation? Iosif, we'll start with you this time. Iosif?
Well, I think it is necessary to define what is automation. So automation is the minimization of humans' involvement in particular processes and tools. So humans can work with small amount of data. Software can work with huge amount of data. Humans have intelligence, and they can produce small artifacts. Automation, AI has no intelligence, but it can produce something that is simulated version of human artifacts. I do not think without a lot of definitions and clarification, it is possible to answer this question.
Let me answer. I mean, it's pretty simple question. I don't know why Iosif was struggling answering and jumping around this, but the question is very basic. In what areas you have to respond? What areas? So, what areas? Usability testing. Usability testing will never be automated. Impossible. Accessibility testing partially can be done through the tools, but there's a lot of issues, a lot of problems which cannot be relied on the tools itself, right? Those are specific areas. And then the business rules validation. There could be partially automated, but it's still, you have to understand the business rules. You have to understand the business behind. And those are the specific areas where human judgment, human intuition, human feel will always prevail.
Excellent. And we have a lot of questions here, guys. I know we had 90 minutes. Let's go to a few more questions. I think we need to wrap things up. Someone wants to know, what skills should testers focus in on in the age of AI, as AI grows more and more in testing?
Critical thinking, research discipline, ability to work with data, ability to see through BS, ability to, and also to have basic layer of competence. So if somebody is writing something like testers think that they should test everything, I expect modern testers to be able to see that it is a strawman and a diluted statement. So this, I think, are relevant skills in the age of AI.
So my answer to this is, the answer is human intelligence. This is the most important thing, which is part of critical thinking, human judgment. This is extremely, extremely important. If you don't have that and you strictly rely on AI, you will be replaced. If you really have this human judgment, human intuition, human intelligence, and you will be able to figure out which AI tools is crap and which AI tool is really bringing value, you will master and be successful there. And very, very important, it always needs to be operated by the principles of human in the loop. You, at the end of the day, needs to make a final decision. You cannot say, oh, that was the AI and blame on AI. At the end of the day, you making the final determination based on the output from AI or based on the various of different conclusions. So human intelligence are always there no matter what.
Great. All right, guys, I want to respect everyone's time. We're about 5 minutes over. I guess any parting words of wisdom, last thoughts before we wrap things up? Ruslan, we'll start with you, and Iosif, you get the final word.
I just want our industry to survive and excel. I want our industry to be respected again. I want our industry to be famous again. And I want to make testing great again as well. And that's the reason why I'm sticking around and not retired by now. And I will do whatever it takes to elevate our industry. I don't want to see this disappeared. This is not what I worked for 28 years when I started, and I want to see this excel. And even through this heated debates and conversation, that requires to make people think, or try to understand what we're trying to achieve, I will continue to have those debates and discussions and heated arguments as well. Whatever it takes to make testing better, I'm a big advocate for it.
Software testing requires human intelligence, discipline, and structure. Human intelligence is understanding what others are saying. So Ruslan had not addressed any of the structured, agreed debate propositions. And it is the difference between saying lots of words and marketing terms and doing deep, thorough investigation that one can expect from software testing. Thank you very much. I hope most of you will focus on software testing, not on profound pandering.
All right, guys, we really appreciate your honesty in doing this debate. It looks like people have really enjoyed it. We might need a follow-up because it seems like some people just wanted a little tighter execution next time. But I think both of you came off really well, really smart, really insightful. I want to thank you both for joining us today for this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Any polls, any final polls we waiting for?
Do you want to see the polls? All right, yeah, hold on.
Yeah, sure.
1 second. All right, first poll, fluff or substance? 90% said no. 55% said no. I made the poll live again. I guess someone might be jitting the numbers now. But a majority before I turned this poll back on was no. It's not fluff. Second one was fear or misleading. No was the majority when I closed the poll. And the last one was efficiency impact. Recommended lead to bad testing. No. So looks like Ruslan won the day here. I don't know. Any final thoughts on these poll results, Iosif, that you were maybe surprised by?
Congrats. It's nice that everyone sees value in such text as HIST. Good luck. My best congratulations to Ruslan on this, I would say, evident victory, supported by hard evidence and a poll. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Iosif. Again, I didn't come here to win, or this was not a game for me. I came here to explain why HIST might help our industry today. That was the only message which I wanted to set. So again, we're shaking hands. It's a good discussion. We agree to disagree, but, thank you very much.
And thank you both once again for contributing to software testing, for both your insights. Really appreciate you both. Thanks again.
Take care. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. I appreciate organizing this. And thank you to everybody who come in. We should do more often, but not argue, but really discuss strategies and action plan.
Better. Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
You did very well. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Bye-bye.